it's important to do this, okay? This is really, you know, grab it, fold it over, right? Lock it onto it, and then pull the trigger and keep the trigger pulled, okay? And just pull it back with your snips. Pull it back against the side of the shroud, and it shouldn't foul up there. And then that's the sweet spot, and that's how you get the sweet spot. Yeah? See, it's curling around. The wire is actually curling around. It just shows you that now you won't have a problem up this end, and you certainly won't have a problem back there. So that's how you prevent. And if you've had that happen, I know it's a nuisance of it to be, you know, coming back and having to undo all the mess and the tangle, like the crows, like a bird's nest that can actually go on. Yeah. And we've taken the blob off the end of the wire, okay, because you won't pull the wire back if you don't, unless 0.023, yeah, of an inch, 0.023. A bond back is when the wire actually connects to the tip and the two of them weld together almost. Sometimes you can flick your gun and it'll snap off, yeah, because it's not actually welded, it's just stuck to the tip. Now, if you sometimes find that, right, that can be caused by your pinch roller, right? Zero, have this, like I said, that it's not rolling off loose, just enough tightness in this center one, just a little bit of a break on it. It'll create the situation whereby you're going to blow through. That's what actually happens. You'll blow through your workpiece. So all kinds of body work, and that really you'd want to be using 0.6. Okay, so let's just have a look and see what we've got going on over here. So we have our weld set, and it's loaded at the minute with 0.8 wire. Yeah. So, and we've taken the blob off the end of the wire. Okay, because you won't pull the wire back if you don't, and let's just get you out a little bit here. So let's have a look and see, are we right? So that's the setup inside of FROTHY, guys. Just show you this. 0.23, I beg your pardon, right? So it's 0.23, 0.6 millimeter, 0.23, yeah, of an inch, 0.023, beg your pardon, yeah. So that's what we're going to be fitting, yeah, and 0.6 tip, and can you see this, guys? Look, real easy, yeah. So the wire has to be pulled back. I might just put you on a stand here for that. So we've got to put that on, guys, yeah. Got to fit that. Got to fit a 0.6 tip. We have our blob cut off, so like I'm saying here, I just showed you that. I mean, that's the kind of pressure, okay. Not really a lot of pressure required on your pinch roller, okay. That's your pinch roller, and you don't need to tighten that up. If you have your pinch roller too tight, guys, what tends to happen is you crash your wire up at the gun end, right? So if you find that the wire, you're getting bond backs, right? A bond back is when the wire actually connects to the tip and the two of them weld together almost. Sometimes you can flick your gun and it'll snap off. Yeah, because it's not actually welded, it's just stuck to the tip. Now, if you sometimes find that, right, that can be caused by your pinch roller, right, or your bond back timer. Just for now, okay, you don't need a lot of pressure on here, okay, you really don't. So we just leave it at that for a minute and whiz our wire back from the end of the gun. It's a 12 or a 15 foot cable on this, or torch lead. I'm forgetting my terminology, guys. It's a long one, isn't it? And there's no problem pushing that wire all the way from the reel. The other thing you don't want to have too tight is this here. You don't want to have that so tight, okay? And I'll show you how to do that as well. Actually, this is quite good because setting up your MIG weld set, I call it a weld set, okay? It is a weld set. It's a welding plant. It's a welding machine. Right, so we're at the end, so we go easy here. And there you have it. Now what we do is just pull it out through here. This is 0.8, and we're taking this off. Give it a pull and turn it over. Give it a snip. Okay, like that. Snip goes here. Throw that wire up there, and then this guy comes off. These are 5 kg reels, so they're not the really big ones. Okay, and this guy comes off. Now you'll see there's a button, okay, that goes into these holes, either one, okay. So you'll have that as well on your drive, on your motor, right? I'm sure you can see it there now. It's like a button, and you line that up to your reel. That's an important, okay. Next, so that's the 0.8, okay, and this is the 0.6, and you can see how fine, right? Also, there's the difference in the wire. I'm hoping you can make that out, the two wires and the difference between them. So again, for 1 millimeter for body work, motor body work, you're better off with 0.6, okay. Again, guys, so you're putting your wire on, you can see through here, and there it is. Otherwise you'll have this roll, see, and that can cause you problems. That will cause you bun back as well. So it's locked on the motor there, you can feel it, yeah, on the drive. Next thing is this guy, right, he just keeps the reel from falling off. This guy in the middle adjusts the tightness and the looseness. Don't forget to put your wire up top. If it's up top, it's fed. Some are fed from the bottom, right? This is from the top. So that's the kind of tension you need on it, look. You see? It's not running away. It's not too loose, and it's not... What it needs to be is it just needs to be tight enough that when you, even when you're spooling off wire at a high speed, that when you let go of your trigger, it's not running forward. That's really all it needs to be. If you have it too tight, you'll burn your motor out from pulling all, you know, if it's really stiff, yeah? So you can see it just stops when it stops, if you know what I'm trying to say. That's what you need on here, okay? Now we go to this area, should really do a video on. Okay, so that's going through now at the moment. Now I made a mistake, guys, right? I've made a mistake. So this guy comes off. I never changed my roller. You have to change rollers if you change wire size. Okay, have to. A 0.8 won't push 0.6 wire. Yeah, it just won't do it. Okay, and this is the 0.6. Okay, and there's a little a key on that. Come on, you're supposed to just walk on in there, guy. I think the key is a little bit. There you go. So now you won't take the rollers out either, these pinch rollers. You won't take them out if the wire is crossing through the gate. So again, that's the mistake I made. I was going to put the wire in and not change the pinch roller. You always have your power off for this job, because if you get your finger caught in the gate, you know, sometimes you'd be inclined to maybe want to get wire through or whatever, and you might, you know, pull the trigger, and then you get your finger in there. You could have a mashed finger. So again, look, right? Okay. We got like 0.6, 0.8, 1 millimeter, 1.2 millimeter. Okay. Now at this stage, okay, I'm going to put a 0.6 tip in. This is a good time also to clean your diffuser, your tip, and the inside of your shroud, which I think I showed you that, yeah, with this guy. That's what it's for. And I suppose it's as well just keep this weld set feeds the wire without the gas. Yeah, it's just like a feed button. Modern weld sets will have that. And there's our wire out. Okay. And here's a test, okay? Okay, so what happens is, you grab your wire like this, okay? And pull the trigger of your gun, okay? And just twist it like that against, okay? Against the front of the shroud. Pull the trigger, count 2 seconds. 1, 2. 1, 2. Yeah, and you can see it's not going to lock up on you. So basically what you do when you're setting up your weld set is just gradually tighten on this tensioner, okay, until you've got wire coming through the end of your tip. That's how you set it all up. Got it? Gradually tighten, have it completely loose, and it's spinning here. Then now it's on 1 at the moment. It goes all the way to 5. Okay, so at the just take it to 0. Have this, like I said, that it's not rolling off loose. Just enough tightness in this center one, just to a little bit of a break on it. Next, have this at 0, and then tighten it a little bit, and you'll find that then you'll see it getting caught in here. It'll actually start, and it'll start pushing the wire out through the liner out, and keep it going until the end. And then here's something you can do then to, you know, to see. I don't know if you can see the wire, but this weld set switches off after a certain little time if you don't arc up. On my other set, I can actually make like hexagon shapes doing this. Yeah. So what you're doing here is you're actually pulling the wire against the side of the shroud, like jamming it, in other words. Yeah. So really that makes sure that it doesn't all ball up here on you, and that is the perfect way to actually, right, I've cut the wire and twisted it around there, okay, just to start this off. Pull the trigger, look, yeah, and there's nothing jamming up here. Then you don't have that issue, right? So that's, I'll go through that in future videos as well. It's a little difficult to show you here. I don't know if you can see the wire right or not, but they're really good tips as regards setting up this lot and having it ready to weld. Yeah, I think we've not too tight, and once you have it set, and if you're staying on whatever size wire you're working on, if you're on 1mm or 0.08 0.8 or 0.6 or whatever, you just leave it. Once you have it set, that's it. Yeah, this doesn't have to be too tight, this doesn't have to be tight, because the tighter this is, it's pushing your wire out. And guys, believe it or not, in very light, in bodywork, in car bodywork, when the wire is being pushed out hard, it'll create the situation whereby you're going to blow through. That's what actually happens. You'll blow through your workpiece because there's so much power behind it coming from your pinch rollers that, so you know, it's like 1mm is really light stuff, right? And you know, we're in and around about the 50 or 60 amps. That's where we're at. 50 really is what you'd want at 0.6. There's no need for the numbers, but like that's really in real terms, that's what you're at. You've got about 50 amps going on there, and the split second it takes to actually create a pool in that thickness of metal, then you really don't need this pushing stuff, you know. Like if I was to put a cup, a plastic teacup, you know, to take away plastic teacups or something, and put it on a table, and I pull the trigger, it should push it away. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But if I put something like heavier, can't think of anything at the moment, but you know where I'm going with this. It doesn't have to be that, like, that's why it's important to do this, okay? This is really, you know, grab it, fold it over, right? Lock it onto it, and then pull the trigger and keep the trigger pulled, okay? And just pull it back with your snips, pull it back against the side of the shroud, and it shouldn't foul up there. And then that's the sweet spot, and that's how you get the sweet spot. Yeah, see, it's curling around. The wire is actually curling around each time I do it. Like I said, my old little weld set, I can actually just pull the trigger and it'll keep going. Yeah, it'll just keep welding. And I can actually make a hexagon, like, you know, like a 50 pence piece type of thing, like that, you know. But it just shows you that now you won't have a problem up this end, and you certainly won't have a problem back there. So that's how you prevent. And if you've had that happen, I know it's a nuisance of it to be, you know, coming back and having to undo all the mess and the tangle, like the crows, like a bird's nest. But there, you know, you can get a whole entanglement of wire, all, you know, and you're cutting back and everything. So that saves that, guys. Yeah, that saves that. So we get stuck in and finish off this and go through this panel now, and more tips and tricks with the panel and how we look at it, how we assess it, etc. Because it can be, you can assess your panel. You should always assess the stuff before you go at it. I've said this before, always. Because, for instance, I guarantee you when we go up there, right, it's not as if all the gaps up there are going to be all the same. There you go. So there's a difference. And if there's a difference in the gap, and we're talking 1 mil versus half a mil, that's massive. We already have established it's 1 millimeter thick. It's not going to last forever once you go putting a tack on it. And that's the level, you know, that's the level of what we're saying here. You know, it's 1 millimeter thick, guys. And you can't afford, if you want to get the results, then you can't afford to be, yeah, everything needs to be right. And what I'm saying is, when we get a closer eyeball up there now, where do you think we should put the tacks? Where do you think we should concentrate first? Where it's wider, where the gap is wider, or where the gap is less? That's how you assess what you're going to do next. Yeah? Come on, we'll get it done.